Everybody, welcome to the Randy Justice Show. I'm excited to have you here tonight. It has been 4 weeks since we did a podcast. I'll explain all that in just a moment. But hang on, we got an exciting show tonight. We're going to talk about used vehicles, pre-purchase inspections, which vehicles that I would not buy used. And I hope that you're ready for the cold weather coming up tomorrow. Stand by. Hey everybody, Randy Justice. So excited to have you here right now. I am just, it's been 4 weeks since we've done a podcast, and I want to apologize to all my subscribers, my listeners. So for 3 weeks, I was sick. I had an upper respiratory infection, which was very hard to get rid of, and went through a lot. And then, of course, last week was Thanksgiving. And so I'm back with you today. Again, I apologize for my loyal followers and my loyal listeners to the podcast that I've not been here. The upper respiratory thing was really a pain in the butt. It just took me forever to shake it. And talking to Dr. Major, he said that he's seen a lot of people that have been the same way. They've had a really hard time getting rid of it. But that is not the, just to let you know, that is not the case for me now. I'm well. Things are good. My daughter did have surgery on Tuesday, 2 days ago, for endometriosis, and she's doing very well. So we've just been through a lot the past few weeks. And tonight I want to talk to you guys about used vehicles. We've seen at our shop, Knox Horizon Complete Auto Care, a lot of people are buying vehicles this time of year. And one of the things we see a lot of is, and I encourage people all the time, if you're going to buy a used vehicle, get a pre-purchase inspection done. And a lot of people ignore that advice. It costs about $100 plus tax to get a pre-purchase inspection done. And we go from one end of the car, bumper to bumper, to try to ensure that you're getting a good vehicle and that you know what you're getting and that you would be aware of any potential repairs that may come your way. We've had people that we've told to get that too. They've not done the pre-purchase inspection. And what happens sometimes, they get surprised after they buy the car, then they bring it to us. And they get surprised when we inspect the car and find thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars worth of work due to the car. We had a Toyota Highlander in here the other day, a 2010, had 143,000 miles on it. So a 14-year-old vehicle. Overall, the car ran good, drove good. Everything seemed to be really good with it. But when we got to inspecting it from bumper to bumper, we found a lot of items over the 14-year of its life that had just not been taken care of, or it was time for them to be taken care of. When somebody done the brakes on it in the past, they had just slapped pads on it and never changed the rotors. The rotors were below spec. They had grooves in them, so it needs front and rear brakes, pads and rotors. The hydraulics and everything's working fine. Both one of the axles, front CV axles, was clicking. Boots boasted on both sides. Recommend replaced on both. Lower control arm bushings wore out. Sway bar link bushings wore out. And just a whole host of things we found. The headlight had moisture in it, needs to be replaced. But we ended up finding on this vehicle, even though it was priced right for what the girl was going to pay for it, and mechanically, the engine, transmission, all that was good, which is your biggest repairs. But by the time we were done, just in maintenance items that need to be taken care of, they had been neglected. And like I say, it's got 143,000 miles on it. 14-year-old vehicle, there's just things that need to be done. But by the time we were done, we found over $7,000 worth of work that need to be done to that vehicle, even after she purchased the vehicle. Now, not everything had to be done immediately, and that's what we told her. We could prioritize what needed to be done. But by getting that inspection and knowing what she was getting in that car, she was able to go back to that to the dealer she was buying the car from and negotiate a better price with them by being able to show them the inspection, go, look, I've got to put all this money into it. You're asking this price. What can we do to knock this price down, since you see what I'm going to have to do to get this car to where it is in great condition to drive? And that's one thing that I think that people don't realize today. Getting that pre-purchase inspection gives you really good negotiating power with a dealer. If a dealer or anybody ever tells you, if you ask to do a pre-purchase inspection, which is your right, and they tell you, no, we don't want you to do that, run from that vehicle immediately, because they know something's wrong with it. And I've always said too, Carfax is great for telling you a lot of things if the vehicle's been taken to someplace that reports to Carfax. This vehicle had great maintenance history in Carfax, but we found the vehicle been wrecked. Carfax didn't have any history of that because it was taken to somebody to repair the car that doesn't report to Carfax. That's something that shops have to sign up to. Carfax just doesn't pull those things out of thin air. The wreck was never there, but we found where it had been wrecked and been repaired very well. Whoever did it did a great job, but it was not on that Carfax vehicle history report. So that's something you got to remember when you're getting that Carfax. It may not have the whole picture or all the information on there. Maintenance-wise, yes, they taken it to dealerships and stuff that report to Carfax. So maintenance-wise, we knew the basic stuff, the oil changes, the fluid changes, and everything that people had done. But they had neglected a lot of other things. And it's just a fact of, again, 14 years old, 143,000 miles, there's just things that wear out. I mean, it's a piece of mechanical equipment. That's what every vehicle is. And things are going to wear out over time. But at least now this young lady knows what she's expecting, what she's going to do. And these 2010 Highlanders with 6-cylinder engine, limited edition, which this one was, they're selling at the top end right now in the market, right around $17,000. So they're holding their value well. And that's because the engines and transmissions go for roughly 300,000 mile life if they're well maintained. And 143,000, she's not even quite to the halfway point of the life that's still left in it. By the time we put all the work in for her and what she's paying for the vehicle, she's going to be right at that $17,000 price. So she's right within what the market says that vehicle should sell for. That's what a pre-purchase inspection can do for you. Vice versa, we've had people, again, that didn't get a pre-purchase inspection done. We have a BMW in the shop now that's over $8,000 worth of work, which came to us after somebody had already bought the car. So they had no idea it needed all that work to it. Things that we could have found if they had brought it to us first, and they could have been prepared and maybe negotiated a better price on that vehicle when they purchased it, or they may have decided to go purchase something else. Now, talking about purchasing used vehicles too, that's something that that I would say you have to be very careful where you purchase vehicles from. Here at Knox Horizon, we have found that a lot of used car dealers, especially your buy here, pay here dealers and stuff, they do not repair their cars properly before they put them on their lot. And I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them don't. We had a vehicle in here a while back that it was brought to us because it was a vehicle somebody's thinking about paying. They wanted us to check it out, and we found that it had been wrecked, and the front bumper cover was held on with duct tape and zip ties. That's how the used car dealer had decided to repair that vehicle. Not proper at all. The front radar, it had a lot of bells and whistles on it, but the front radar was totally uncalibratable because it had not been repaired right. You have to do proper repairs, especially in your newer vehicles that have radars, cameras, blind spot indicators. Those vehicles have to be repaired and put back together correctly in order to be able to calibrate those things and to have all those safety features, the advanced driver assistance safety features, work properly. And a lot of people just don't realize that. There's a lot that goes into that, and that's where you can't shade tree mechanic it and put it back together with duct tape and zip ties and it be good at all. We have seen car dealers that have cars have been brought here, and we've told them stuff needs to be done. Safety items, brakes, suspension items, and we've told them, and they're safety related, and they refuse to fix them. So again, what I would say is you've got to be careful where you buy a car from, and that's again why a pre-purchase inspection is so important. Now, I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, we don't have X-ray vision, so we can't see all the depths of the engine or transmission. We can't see every internal. We can give you a great idea from the test drive, from scanning the computers, from visual inspections on the outside, from everything else we do. We can give you a great overall idea of if it's a good car to buy and what you're looking at. But again, we don't have X-ray vision and can't see every internal. And there could be things we just can't find or see at that time. The other thing I would tell you too is we don't have a crystal ball, and it's a mechanical item. That's what every vehicle is. At some point in the future, it's going to break. That's why I also tell people if you're going to buy, if you're going to buy a used vehicle, get an extended service contract on it, but get a good one. There's some cheap ones out there. They don't cover anything. We have one right now that customers bought a car, an Audi. I did talk them into putting a extended service contract on them, and they hadn't had the car out of our shop for a week. When the timing went out, the cam phasers went out, and it's on an Audi, very expensive to repair, and we're right at $10,000 to do this repair, and the service contract company is paying for the repair. So there's nothing coming out of the customer's pocket for that. That's why I say service contracts is something, especially on used vehicles, if you're going to keep that vehicle for any length of time, think about purchasing an extended service contract. We have Protective One, which is formerly known as AUL. They're excellent to deal with. That's what's on this Audi that I just told you about. And they're paying for the repair. Now, there is a lifetime max, unfortunately, on that policy. It is what it is, because basically an extended service contract, a lot of people call them extended warranties. They're not warranties. It's basically an insurance policy that says that if this breaks on your car, this is what's covered and what's going to be paid for. So at least these customers are not going to be out any more money than what they already have in this car, because that service contract came into play and is paying for that timing repair on this Audi. And it's the Audi with a 3.5, and a lot of people don't know, most timing is in the front of the engines. This one's in the rear of the engine. You have to pull the transmission and exhaust and tons of things out of the way to even be able to do this repair. It takes, I think when I looked at it, takes right at 20 hours to do the timing job on this. But that's what I'm talking about. Thousands upon thousands of dollars for repairs on used cars. They're going to break. In this market today, I can tell you from what we're seeing is it's the exception where somebody just trades in a car because they're tired of it and wants to get something new. Most of the time when somebody trades in a car today and it ends up on a used lot, it's because they know it has problems, or they know they're going to spend a lot of money to get it up to great working condition, excellent condition, and they don't want to spend the money, so they trade it in, get something new, and pass it on to somebody else. Again, why the pre-purchase inspections are so important. What I would say to that, though, is that, again, it's very important where you buy the vehicle. Me personally, I would not buy one from a buy here, pay here lot. I wouldn't buy one from a used lot. If I was looking for a used vehicle, I would go to a brand name OEM dealer like a Nissan dealership, a Chevy dealership, a Dodge dealership, Ford dealership, somewhere it's a dealership, and that has a certified pre-owned program, a Volvo, wherever, especially if you're going to buy a German car, an Audi, a BMW, a Mercedes, even a Volkswagen. If you're going to buy a used one, go to the dealership, because I think every one of those has certified pre-owned programs where you have some kind of guarantee on that vehicle that it has been checked, it meets that OEM specifications, and most of them have some kind of a warranty or an extended service period or something on them so you can feel protected. I would still, even on a certified pre-owned, I would get a service contract, an extended one. I can't stress that enough because we're seeing people who buy cars and within 2 or 3 months they break and they're out thousands of dollars sometimes to fix these things because they didn't get an extended service contract on it. And a lot of people think, well, I'm never going to need it. Extended service contract is a whole lot different than an extended warranty on electronics purchase you make. You know, I've bought extended warranties on computers and everything when they've been offered to me. I've yet to use one. I think the only time out of all the products I did is I bought a Nikon flash one time for my camera. The screen actually went out on it and the extended warranty kicked in and paid for it. But that's the only time that I've used one of those. But it was a brand new flash. Brand new products just, they normally don't go out until the life of the product is up. Same thing with cars. And when you're looking to buy a car, you have two things. You buy a new car and you're going to have payments, but it's going to have a warranty on it and you're going to be covered if something breaks. You buy a used car, you're going to have to put money into it. And if you financed it, now you've got car payments plus you're putting money into it to do repairs, because a lot of people don't do just the basic maintenance on their car, oil changes, transmission changes, coolant flushes. They don't do those things. So when you get them, the car is just not in good shape, and you may end up having to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars when that car breaks. And I have people all the time, they talk about used cars. Well, I bought a lemon. What can I do about it? There are no lemon laws on used vehicles. It's only on new vehicles, not used ones. Used vehicles, when you sign that, you've bought it as is. As is means as is. There are some dealers that'll give you a 30-day warranty or give you some kind of warranty on the car. But for the most part, that car is as is. Once you bought it, no matter what's wrong with it, it's yours. You're stuck with it if it breaks 30 seconds after you drive it off the lot. It's your car, no matter what you've paid for it or anything else. That's why, again, the pre-purchase inspection is so, so, so important on these vehicles. Now, people ask me all the time when they're looking for cars, what's the best car to buy? That's not a straightforward answer, unfortunately. I can tell you what I would stay away from. If you want to talk about what the best cars are out there, what we see that last the longest, is a brand, Toyota, Honda. That's probably the two that overall last the longest. They have some models that have problems, but here's what I would stay away from in used vehicles. I would stay away from any German-made car. That's Mercedes, that's BMW, that's Audi, that's even Volkswagens, unless, again, you're buying certified pre-owned. I would not buy one of those makes from a used lot or buy here, pay here lot, because they're great cars when they are running perfect, when everything's good. When they break, they're expensive, expensive, expensive to repair. And I can't stress that enough. Like I said, we've got a BMW in here now. We're over $8,000 in. The Audi that we're putting timing in, it's right at $10,000. I mean, we're not talking about minor repairs. Anything with a CVT transmission. CVT transmissions, I've talked about them on here before. They're the worst possible transmission out there. It's the same principle. It's on a go-kart, and why anybody thought that was a great idea to put in a passenger car or truck, I have no clue. And I can tell you that when one breaks, there's no rebuild to them, and every dealer out there will tell you you're replacing the transmission, and a CVT is going to cost you anywhere from about $4,000 up to replace, depending on what the vehicle is. And I can tell you how I know that they're an inherent problem. Most of the time when we call the dealership, because it's the only place we can get a CVT transmission, we call the dealership, they'll have 4 or 5 on the shelf. So it's an inherent problem with those. Now, if you buy a car with a CVT transmission, a new one, not a used one, but a new one, and you change the CVT fluid every 30,000 miles religiously, it's going to last. It's going to last a lot longer than when it doesn't. But nobody seems to ever change the transmission fluid or CVT fluid in their vehicle. It seems to be something that's neglected all the time. Your owner's manual has in there what mileage those things should be checked. CVT, I don't care what the book says, I'd change it at 30,000 miles religiously. If you don't, I can tell you the CVT transmission is probably going to break on average somewhere between 80,000 and 120,000 miles it's going out. And there is no fix for it except replacing the transmission. And again, it's going to be $4,000 and up. And most of us don't have $4,000 just laying around, or like these other cars I'm talking about, 10,000 or 8,000 or whatever. So when some of these cars break, and I'm telling you, when it comes to German cars especially, don't do it. 5.3 liter engine in Chevrolets. They have lifter failures. It's something that's inherent in them and known about them. If you have one that has a lifter failure and stuff, it's going to cost you $8,000 to $9,000 to repair that engine. I'm going to tell you that at that point in time, and that's if when you open the engine, you don't find that it's messed the cams up, that it's messed the cam journals up or anything. If it's messed that up, the price goes up from there. A remanufactured engine through Jasper Engines with a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty is about $12,000. For that same 5.3 liter GM engine. So you got a decision there. You're paying $8,000 to $9,000 to get it repaired, and it may not last, or you're paying $12,000 to get a reman engine in there, which has had a ton of updates done to it with a 100,000 mile and 3-year warranty. I try to encourage when we get one of those in for people to do the engine route. It's just a much better option. Nissan cars that has a regular transmission, not CVT, are great. I drive a 2024 Nissan Pathfinder with a 9-speed automatic transmission. I've had no problems out of that vehicle. I love my car. It's been a great vehicle. Toyotas are great. And again, there's just a lot of great vehicles. But again, German cars, especially when you talk about them used, whether it's Audi, BMW, Mercedes especially, my advice, and this is my opinion only, stay away from them unless you buy certified pre-owned and you have some kind of a guarantee, some kind of a warranty, something on that vehicle. Because we've seen too many come to our shop where somebody buys them and within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days after they buy them, they have major catastrophic failures in something. And a lot of times it's in the engine or electronics or turbos, if it's a turbo or something. And again, we're talking thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to fix that. We had a Mercedes in here a while back. It was a Mercedes SUV, and it had a turbo problem. We did everything we could to get the woman to fix the turbo. She wouldn't do it. We tried to get her to get an extended service contract, so if something happened, it would be covered. She wouldn't do it. So it got towed back to us about three or 4 months later. The engine was completely shot because turbo come apart and threw material all through the engine. Only place that had the engine was Mercedes. $43,000. That's what that engine was going to cost. Again, these cars are great when they work. They're great brand new. They're great if they're taken care of and maintained, but even if I bought one of those cars, whether it's a Mercedes, BMW, or Audi, if I bought a brand new one, I would be getting rid of it within 6 months of the factory warranty expiring because I know it's going to cost me, or I would make sure I had an extended service contract that kicked in when the factory warranty went out. That's my take tonight. Again, thank you guys. As always, my show has no sponsors, but I want to give a shout out to Elm Body Healthcare, great primary care here in Knoxville. Dr. Michael Major, his wife Melissa, who's a nurse practitioner there. You can find out more about them at elmbodyhealthcare.com. Our shop, Knox Horizon Complete Auto Care. It's your one-stop auto shop. We do everything from maintenance to engines, transmissions, diagnostics, ADAS calibrations, you name it, we do it. And you can find us on the web at knoxhorizon.com. Anyway, guys, sorry I missed a few weeks due to sickness and the holidays, But I'm back. Thank you guys very much. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you next week.